Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you very much for joining us. This is Startup Product and Tech Q&A. It's our 142nd session. We've been doing these now for, almost 4 years, where we seek to help startups like yourselves with whatever questions you may have as you build your early stage product or technology. By the way, those questions can be on anything from product roadmap to design to prototype to testing to launching your MVP to automation to maybe your app or landing page or actually your full stack or anything and everything in between or beyond for that matter. This is the place to be. You see, unfortunately, over 90% of startups fail. And the top three reasons for that are one, market fit, two, running out of money, and three, not having the right people. And I don't think there could be anything more important about not only your survival, but actually your ability to thrive and make it happen than your ability to build your product or tech, right? And if my brilliant panelist wouldn't mind muting because he's creating a bit of an echo for some reason, really appreciate it. And so, as I was saying, there couldn't be anything more important about your ability to grow and thrive than you being able to build this and do it in the right way. Now, we're going to be here for the next hour. I'm sorry for the echo. If you kindly bear with me for just a second, I'm just trying to sort out all these tech things here. Right. So, as I was saying, you need to get it right basically from the start. Now, for those of you that are tuning in via LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, please be aware that unfortunately we're unable to monitor your questions there. Which means if you do want to ask our amazing panelists any questions, you'll need to join us live and interactively here on Microsoft Teams. There's a couple of ways you can do that. The quickest way, hopefully, should be for you to click on the link. There's a link on all of those live streams. There's a link. Actually, I'm not sure if there's one on Instagram. But if there isn't a link, or if you can't work out the link, then simply go to our website, startup-to-scaleup.club. When you go there, look for today's session. Just scroll down to Startup Product and Tech Q&A 142. Remember, 142 is today's date, 25th of February. You click on that, then click join. It's a quick registration of a few seconds, and then you'll be here with us on Microsoft Teams. Now, if your questions today are not on product and tech, and I guess you save them for the other conversations and events we run. So we're currently doing 6 regular events. Monday's talent, Tuesday's product and tech, Wednesday's growth, Thursday's fundraising, second Friday of the month it's legal, UK startup law, and third Friday of the month it's UK finances, startup finances, that is. And they're all from 12 to 1 p.m. UK time. And you can RSVP to any of them via our website, startup-to-scaleup.club. And actually, when you're on our website, a good idea is to go onto our WhatsApp group. You've got a link, a WhatsApp icon at the top and bottom of our website where you'll be able to register and join us there. If you do join our WhatsApp groups, you'll get alerts to all future rooms and you won't miss any. But anyway, today we're going to go through some quick introductions. Perhaps Tom and Mario will give us what are their biggest do's and don'ts. And for those of you that are here on Microsoft Teams, if you do want to ask us any questions, just put the question in the chat for us, please. And then I will give you the mic so you can ask the team here. But basically, just type the question there and we'll go in that order. Whoever types the question first will get to ask the question first. Remember, we've only got 54 minutes to go, and that goes faster than you'd think it does. Now, introductions. My name's Anton Kool. I'm an Albanian in London working with startups normally right after they get investment. I embed within their teams and help them hire and keep the right people. I also do some advisory work on growth with a few other startups and accelerators. And lately, especially, I've been helping angels and family offices with their due diligence and assessment. We'll go on to Mario, who joined first, and then Tom for your introductions, fellas.
Hi everyone, nice to be here. My name is Mario Tomic. I'm Croatian living in Spain. I'm working with non-technical founders to help them build their product, manage their team, and scale up their team from from 1 to 0 and from 0 to 100. Let's say it. I've been here for 6 months now and trying to help founders with questions they have around technology, around choosing the right stack, managing people, managing developers, and all those kind of questions that usually arise when you're building a product.
Thank you very much, Mario. Tom.
Yeah, thanks very much, Anton. My name is Tom Green. I am a English person in London, and I run a company called Verticode. So Verticode is an MVP
Now that
studio.
is a rare specimen.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
But Verticode is an MVP studio. So we focus on working with the founders who are at I would say the earliest stage, but not quite the earliest stage. So working with founders who have gone out there and done some early stage validation and are ready to build their MVP, the first version of their tech product. We help them through that journey, kind of from them scoping it out, helping them understand what kind of features they should be focusing on, and then obviously building the product and then when they get out there, helping them iterate on top of it as well. Verticode started approximately 2.5 years ago. In that time, we've launched, I think at the moment it's 85 minimum viable products. So they launched 85 tech startups in that time. And so we've seen founders make a lot of mistakes, both on in the product side of things and away from the product side of things, but also seeing founders do a lot of things right as well. So yeah, obviously my insight is a lot of my experiences in that early stage space, but yeah, happy to provide as much insight across all aspects of the product journey as I can.
It's brilliant. Well, thank you very much to both of you. This is some amazing stuff. I can see the questions have already started in the chat, and that is brilliant. Well done for kind of getting dibs on going first. I'm going to give you the mic in a second, Moise, but first, I'd love to hear from our panelists in terms of your biggest do's and don'ts when it comes to early stage product and tech building. And don't worry about repeating some of the stuff you might have said in the past. And unfortunately, we founders tend to make the same mistakes over and over again. So when it comes to what should be in place and what you often don't see in place, or perhaps what should be done or shouldn't be done, what would you say? I don't know, if you can at least think of one each, one do and one don't. And by the way, don't say this is the do and then just the other one is the don't, i.e. using the same thing. So try to think of two things. Would really appreciate it. Perhaps again, we can start with Mario and then Tom, please.
Yeah, sure. So it's interesting that founders always replicate their own way of doing things into their own startups, their own companies, right? So if you have tendency to micromanage, then you're gonna end up in having a company plagued with micromanagement, right? So that's one thing that probably shouldn't be done. Like you shouldn't overbuild, and it's really funny like how I see a lot of startups coming with they're always short with budget, obviously, but they still tend to overbuild and still trying to and a lot of my work is just helping them understand things that don't need to build right now. So there's tendency to overbuild, tendency to have everything there, like to try to build that kind of future vision instead of like imminent need. That's for don'ts. And for do's, I think everyone should assume that whatever you think is going to take in reality is going to take more, and all the estimations that you might have, it should take more, it will cost more, and things will happen that you don't know, unknown unknowns kind of thing. So those two things are pretty much constant, especially one that is going to cost more money, is going to take more time than you expect. So that's probably 100% true in each case.
Here. Thank you very much for that, Mario. Tom, what are your biggest do's and don'ts, especially stuff that you see happening often and it annoys you, or it's not happening as often as it should, then it still annoys you?
Yeah, for sure. I think my biggest don't is, I see this a lot, which is, we're working with founders, and it's right that often founders are solving problems which they've experienced themselves, whether that be in their workplace, in their industry they work in, or even as in their capacity as a consumer. But one thing that often these founders make a big mistake with is assuming that they themselves represent 100% of the kind of the thought and perspective of their prospective users. And so my big don't is, don't assume that just because you are the profile of one of your target customers, that you can slack off doing your user research and you don't have to go out there and speak to early users. And so I think, we see it with founders a lot. They're kind of, it's an excuse to be lazy, that because they are or have in a past career been a target customer, they don't need to go and do that user research. My big don't is, don't make that assumption, because you will, the vast majority of the time, by going and speaking to people who you thought were exactly the same as you, you'll understand things more acutely, and you will find out and uncover things about their behavior and their needs that you wouldn't have otherwise understood. And that's really important for your product. In terms of my do's, this is more specifically when a founder does go out there and starts doing some user research, do be brave with the way that you're doing your user research and the way you're kind of doing that early validation. And what I mean by that is, do be brave and don't be scared to be invalidated. Do be willing to ask those questions, which you might not get questions that you might not get the answers you wanted to. So when you're going through that user process, don't think of it as a tick box exercise, and do very much think of it as an opportunity for you to go and disprove some of your theories, because that, although it feels like a setback at the time, is actually a form of progress and will get you closer to the product which will ultimately be successful. So yeah, my do is to be brave when doing your customer research.
That's actually quite good. And I have to say, I mean, both of you, this was pure gold, but something that is really important. Just chiming from what you said, Tom, there. One of the best ways I have seen products do well, and unfortunately, I have to say, the technique to disprove what you're working on in terms of B2C, it's often not right. And this is my experience, but in B2C, that is a much better way to make sure that what you've built stands on something. But in terms of B2C, I don't think I've ever seen actually a case that the disproving factor on B2C worked out well. And that is simply, it's not because there's something wrong with it. I just think that the founders don't quite know who to go to in terms of their potential customers. And customers perhaps don't really know what they want either. But in terms of B2B, I've seen that work really well. So that's brilliant. Right here, we now are going to go to Moise, but just before that, a quick reset of the conversation. I see quite a few people that have joined us on the live streams. This is Startup Product and Tech Q&A. We're doing this to help startups with whatever questions you may have as you build your product and tech, whether it's your product roadmap, your design, your testing, your prototype, maybe launching your MVP, full stack, landing page, or a map, or maybe automation and low to no code for that matter too, and all that jazz. There are no right questions either, actually, but there are no wrong questions and there's no need to be shy. It's a learning curve for us all. If you are tuning in via the live streams, please remember, unfortunately, we're unable to monitor your questions there. So what you need to do is, if there's a link to our Microsoft Teams, which is live audio and it's audio only, by the way, if there's a link there, please just click on that and it's a quick registration and you'll be able to join us. If for any reason you can't see or find the link, then just go to our website, startuptoscaleup.club, not .com, .club, startuptoscaleup.club. You'll look for today's session, which is Startup Product and Tech Q&A 142. This is for the 25th of February. Click on that, click join, quick registration. You'll be here with us on Microsoft Teams. Once you join us here, then you can type your question like Moise did in the chat here. And as soon as you've done that, we'll give you the floor and you'll be able to ask our brilliant panelists whatever question you have. We are only going to be here for the next 43 minutes now. So if I were you, I wouldn't leave it for last second to do that. And by the way, if you've got questions on other matters, just remember we run 6 regular events: Monday's talent, Tuesday's product and tech, Wednesday's growth, Thursday's fundraising, second Friday of the month it's UK startup law, and third Friday of the month it's UK startup finances. They're all from 12 to 1 p.m. UK time, and you can RSVP to any of them via our site, startuptoscaleup.club. And actually, when you're there, you might want to also click and join our WhatsApp groups. There's a icon of the WhatsApp group at the top and bottom of our website. You click there, and if you join that, you'll be able to get alerts to all future rooms. But without further ado, welcome back to our Q&As. Moise, the floor's yours, buddy. If you unmute, you'll be able to speak. Moise, I guess you've joined on what's it called, Mozilla again, haven't you? Right, let me make you a presenter instead then. Let's see. Right, that should help. Moise, can you talk?
Yeah. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Take it away, buddy.
Yeah, sure. So basically, I'm building a personal finance app and I'm having troubles of getting the open banking APIs. So there's third-party providers like GoCardless, TrueLayer, and Plaid. And I've been using Lovable, but for some reason it's not working. So is there something with open banking APIs? Do you have to do something manually with the backend? Yeah, for authentication.
Okay, and why is it not working? Are you getting some kind of error? What do you see there?
Yes, yeah. So basically, it's not connecting to the bank or giving the list of banks. Because yeah.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Well, let's see what the tech expert's got to say. Let's go to Mario and then we go on to Tom. What would you do here, Mario? And please feel free to ask Moise any questions you might have. I think we might have lost Mario. Let's go to Tom first, and then when Mario comes back, we'll see what he's got to say. Tom?
Yeah, sure. I guess my first question, Moise, would be: have you entered into a kind of commercial agreement with any of these open banking providers before like setting up the integration?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, yeah, fine. And so you've got your API key and everything like that?
Yeah, so basically, yeah, I've been trying to integrate that with the API key, but it's not working. It's kind of hard getting these people in contact as well with these providers and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that's a consideration. I mean, it's very difficult to say what might be going wrong. One thing I would suggest is often with open banking integrations, the process that you kind of generally have to go through is obviously building out the integration in the, using the sandbox environment, and then going through a sort of like compliance approval process where to when you're kind of looking to go live with it. Depending on which provider you're using, they should be providing you with customer service. Some of them are better than others, to be honest on that. So some of them will add you to a Slack channel, that kind of thing. Others, it's a much more manual process, so it can be a bit of an unknown as to what the back and forth might look like there. But from a technical perspective, it's very difficult to pinpoint what might be happening there without without getting under the hood, as it were. I guess my caveat there would be that Mario might be able to provide some more I guess technical advice on this one.
Indeed, and I think actually I've heard Mario mention lately, I might be wrong, but I think I heard him mention that he works with a couple of similar stuff, or at least integrating payment APIs. So hopefully, just sent a message in our LinkedIn group chat, Moyes, that he's going to rejoin in a second. For some reason, the connection dropped out for him. So hopefully he'll join us shortly. But nevertheless, Moyes, if for any reason Mario either takes too long or is unable to help, here's two things you can do. If you're not getting any answers back, you might want to look at some people that work for these companies that are customer success or commercial, or basically like sales and marketing or PR people, right? And go on their Twitter and tweet to them, and at the same time see if you can connect with them on LinkedIn, as well as either, if you can connect them, that's best, obviously, but if not, just go onto their posts and comment under a post of theirs and just say, hi, this is an issue I'm having, and I'm struggling to get through to anybody. I'd really appreciate your help. In the meantime, there's always good old ChatGPT. I would take screenshots of whatever errors you're getting there, i.e. as to why that's not working, and just see if you can work that out yourself in the meantime, Moyes. But I would definitely advise the reaching out and tweeting out to these people. Okay, I think we've got somebody in the lobby and we've got Mario, so I'll give him, oh God, I've muted everybody. Where is he? Mario, boy. What are you doing, Mario? Okay, so Mario, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
All right, so Moya's here. He's got an issue. I don't know if you can see the stuff that was written in the chat before you joined, but he says, how can you get Open Banking API installed in a web page? I tried integrating with my web app, but it doesn't work. Is there anything in the back end I need to change for authentication? He's tried to reach out to them and there's no chance. He's gotten keys from them, so the agreement, has been kind of green lighted. So it's not like he's doing this just out of the blue, but he's struggling. And we're lucky because Moyes is here, so you can ask him questions that you may have.
Mm-hmm. So how to put that on a front end? Is that a question on the app, right? Is that the question? Because I cannot see the original question right now.
That's okay. Moyes, would you mind going again, just explaining that again, please, buddy?
Yeah, sure. So basically, I'm trying to test my web app right now before I roll it out to users for more validation. And it's I have done it with Go Cardless, and it's not connecting to any banks or So it's just like a ongoing process and everything. So I've been using Go Cardless for the open banking API. I don't know if you've heard about Node.js API. And and then I've been using Superbase for the backend. I'm not sure if there's like any problem with the authentication and everything. It's financial data, right? So
Right. But who is talking to these APIs? Which layer of your app talking to this cardless and other APIs?
So what do you mean? Like it's like a license, right? So Yeah, third-party API. It's a third-party
But
API.
yeah, exactly. But which part of your system is talking to them? You need to have some backend that will be talking to them,
Yeah,
right?
Superbase. Yep, Superbase.
Yeah,
So
but Superbase is database, so it cannot. How it can, So there has to be something else there. Superbase is just database with a bit of something on top of it, but it's not engine by itself, right? So there has to be some Next.js code that's run on Vercel or something that can, where do you write code, right?
yeah.
So where's your code? Like,
Oh, so right now, I just been using it with AI. So like with Lovable, it's like you don't have to write like a lot of code. It's just like you prompt it and basically it just, does it for you. And then for Superbase, it's just more about like basic information. Like it creates a table. I know it's a database, but so do you suggest to moving like to another like database? Because I am non-technical, right? Yeah.
right, yeah. Okay, no problem. So the thing here, like Superbase is database, like its purpose is to persist some data, some responses, or some, let's say list of users, right? There's going to be
Yeah.
table users, and all users will be there, right? But let's say you want to show a list of users somewhere, then you need to write some code that's going to connect Superbase, pull the list of users, and show it on your web app, right? For example, right? So let's say you have some basic integration where you want to connect to Go Cardless API and check status on a card, for example, right? So there has to be a piece of code that will be connecting to that API, providing keys and everything, connect, get some data back, and maybe store it in Superbase or display it to user. Right? So there has to be some sort of layer there that will be with the actual code. That layer can be no code application, right? Something no code where you can, but it's still, there has to be some code executed that will connect to API, get some data out of it, do something with it, and either store it in Superbase or display it display it on a web page or whatever, right? So you're probably missing that part out, or probably you're not missing, but maybe you're not able to figure out which part of your stack is parts basically responsible for hosting business logic, right?
Yeah.
So Superbase is just Superbase storage, is database. It doesn't do much more than that, right?
Yeah.
And if it is going to have some sort of lambda function or something similar on top of Superbase, then it's there where you need to write a code that's gonna do what you need, right? But it can be, database cannot talk to API. It just can be some code talking to API. Does that help?
I understand. Yeah. Yes. Okay. I think that was the gap I was trying to. I was trying to find out. Like, okay, because this database. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. No
Mario, next time you're in London, Moy's here. Owes you a big lunch somewhere.
Yeah, I'm based in Kingston, so like I don't know where.
Good stuff, man. Is that helpful, Moyes? Do you have more clarity now? My advice is use ChatGPT, but also, again, reach out to those people, because often, at least in my experience, these banks, as Tom rightly said, some are better than others in terms of customer service, but more often than not, once you have an agreement with them in place, they should, and they tend to, at least the ones I've sort of seen, send you like step-by-step guides in how to integrate all of that, and especially in terms of the APIs. So it might be worth, if you haven't received anything and if you're not getting any answers from them, it might be worth to follow that path that I mentioned. Reach out to somebody either via LinkedIn and or Twitter, on the commercial sides, and ask them to get somebody to get back to you.
Yeah, no, thank you. I think I just need to have like better knowledge of these APIs. But yeah, no, thank you so much for all the advice.
You're welcome, and best of luck. Right here. Thank you very much, Mario, for saving the day, and thank you to you, Tom, as well. Riyazat, I have unmuted your mic. I'm quickly going to reintroduce, because I can see a few people that are new to the live streams, and then I'll give you the mic to ask the panel. This is Startup Product and Tech Q&A 142. We're going to be here for the next 29 minutes, helping founders with whatever questions you have to build your early stage product or tech. The idea is quite simple. Any questions you may have on building your early stage, whether it's product roadmap, design, prototype, testing, launching your MVP, automation, full stack apps, landing pages, and all that jazz, all you have to do is type your question here where we are on Microsoft Teams. We'll give you the mic and then you can ask the panel. If, however, you are tuning in via our live streams, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, unfortunately, we're unable to monitor your questions there. So you'll need to join us here live on Microsoft Teams. If you can see a link to the Microsoft Teams on those streams, follow that. If not, just keep it simple. Go to our website, startup2scaleup.club. Click on today's session, which is Startup Product and Tech Q&A 142. Then click join. A few seconds registration. You'll then receive an email with the link to join us here in Microsoft Teams. Also remember, if your questions today are not on product or tech, please then save them for the other conversations we run. There's 6 of those. Monday's Thailand, Tuesday's product and tech, as you can see today, Wednesday's growth, Thursday's fundraising, second Friday of the month, UK startup law, and third Friday of the month, UK startup finances. They're all from 12 to 1 p.m. UK time, and they are all available on our website, startup2scaleup.club, where you can RSVP to them. And actually, if you're there, you might want to join our WhatsApp group. There's a WhatsApp icon at the top and bottom of the website where you'll be able to click join. And then that way, you'll never miss a Q&A again if you want to, that is. Right, so Razat asked a very good question. I've developed my MVP and the product is about to go live. I've got 2 questions. How do I validate my product? And at what stage should I go for fundraising? Let's focus on the first one, please, Razat. So please introduce yourself. Tell us what your startup is about. And then we'll go on to Tom and Mario. Go ahead, buddy.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Riyazat. So I was working as a head of technology here in India. I'm basically from India. In a Q-commerce startup. So now I have shifted and I'm on to develop my own product, a Q-commerce, where I connect local shops to the customers directly. So what deal is there in India right now? We have dark store model for Q-commerce. We do get products in 10 to 12 minutes, but they're all owned by big giants. So I'm on a mission to connect all the local stores, be it stores or service-based, a salon or whatever they sell, and bring them on one platform, one app, and so that they can reach to the customers. But how do I validate my startup, first of all? Because here in India, the users are now more inclined towards the big giants Q-commerce, but I want the other people hosting their physical shops to go live as well.
Thank you very much. Riyazat, did you say e-commerce or Q-commerce? And what is Q-commerce? I'm sorry.
Q-commerce is quick commerce. E-commerce is where...
I see. I sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
Okay. So you want to know how to validate that. Okay.
Correct.
This is a very good point. I'll give you my quick 2 pence and then we'll go on to Tom and then Mario. There's a few things. To start with, I don't think you need to build an app. I think you need a WhatsApp group and you need a landing page. If you see enough shops that are signing up, then you've got something going there. And then if you see some people that are willing to put their money where their mouth is, then you've got something going. But otherwise, don't go building an MVP, don't go building an app, don't go building or spending any money without getting people to put their money where their mouth is. That would be my advice. This is the kind of stuff that you can literally do with a WhatsApp group and or a landing page. I hope that helped, but I'd love to hear from Tom, especially, but also Mario on this matter. So, Tom?
Yeah, I think to begin with, I think I think you mentioned in your question that you already have built something. I actually don't. Even if you have, I wouldn't even necessarily go and present that to people just yet. The first stage of validation, but pre MVP, I would say, but obviously in this case, kind of sort of post MVP, is getting a verbal understanding of the issue that these people are facing, and whether, and really hearing it from them directly what that problem is, before presenting a solution. Really kind of being on, just listening and understanding the problem they're facing. And I know, obviously, from what you said, you've obviously got a decent idea of what that might be, but still, it's good to have those conversations and understand the nuances within it. So I think, really, firstly, identifying that there is a problem here, going and having those conversations is the first thing. If then, you're kind of like, from there, you have, and I guess the other thing I would say, at that stage when you have those conversations, don't be shy. You can ask them also if there's a problem that you've kind of hypothesized is there and they need a solution to it. If you've got that solution, start pre-selling it. I would say even start pre-selling it before you've even shown them the platform itself even. So if you can get people just to join a wait list, whatever it may be, building up some soft traction, that's an early stage of validation. And then once you've got a good number of kind of early adopters ready to go, and I imagine after those conversations, you might want to probably make some tweaks to your MVP. Just that would be my prediction as to what you would require. Then onboarding those early adopters. And then once you're onboarding those early adopters onto your MVP at that stage, which is, I think a bit of kind of in the future for you at the moment, but you kind of have to identify what the metrics which are going to be important for you are. And I think, if there's obviously like a B2B aspect to this, but I couldn't quite work out if you're actually facilitating the commerce through your platform. But if you are, there's obviously like a consumer side to it as well. There's a kind of, there are metrics which you can get straight up front in terms of things like adoption, the classic straightforward metrics about number of customers, number of transactions, size of transactions, that sort of stuff. But also you want to be looking at stuff like repeat customers over time. So moving forward, you want to see actually, someone has downloaded your application or is using your web app or whatever it may be. They have used it once perhaps, but also are they coming back and using it again? So there are many ways to look at your traction and your validation moving forward. But I think for you, the main thing right now is kind of almost putting that technology piece to the back of your mind and going out there and actually validating that there's a problem which you're going to solve. And when you've got that, you can have, and once you've got that validation, then start putting the technology in people's hands and tweaking based on what they're telling you from it. But yeah, I'll pass over.
Yeah, I don't think I have a lot to add to this one, so I'd rather skip.
Fair enough. Thank you very much to both of you. And last thing, if I may, Riaz, there's something I call NWEDs, and probably both Mario and Tom are sick of hearing that from me. But N stands for need. So you've got to think, what is the need that you're fulfilling here? What is the problem that you're solving? And you've got to do this before you write a line of code or you spend any money on building anything. And then you've got to think, what is the W, which stands for want, i.e. who's going to want this? How are you going to get them to want this? And why do they want this? I stands for innovation, which you kind of touched on that. So what innovation are you bringing to the fore? What are you doing different to the others? D stands for disruption. Who are you disrupting out there? And I guess most importantly on this matter, who are you going to need to steal clients from? I.e., have you spoken to enough people that say, Tom and Mario's company, which are current players in this field, they are SHIT, they're not good because of whatever list of reasons they give you, right? And then S, which stands for disruption, stands for scalability. Is this, can you grow this? Is this scalable? What is it you have to scale this and to make it successful, i.e. make enough money from it? And what is it you don't have? Once you've got this, then try and put that into a product roadmap. And yes, I understand product roadmaps most of the time for startups tend to be useless because they change a lot. But actually, people think they're useless because they're not useless. Because even if you do keep changing it all the time, I've learned one thing, and I've learned this the hard way, is that life is much better when you have things written down in startup land. I hope that helps, Riyazat. I don't know if you've got any follow-ups or anything like that.
Great, understood. Thank you so much, guys. But my problem is I have spoken to, for example, 100 of them, 100 of people, of my users. 50 of them have agreed and 50 of them have not. So I'm in a stage what to do, whether to go ahead with
What
this.
have they agreed? What have they agreed to?
50 of them have said, 50% of them have said that yes, we require this kind of a product in the market right now. Like, I'll be your customer. But 50%
Okay. Have you worked out a model in terms of monetization model yet? What is your plan?
I do have a monetization plan as well, but
And have you discussed that with them?
Because they're my customers, so I never felt that there's a need to discuss a monetization model with them.
Why not? If I'm saying I want this, I'd want to know how am I going to get it, right?
Yes, but I've spoken to my customers who will be using this product for free. So I am putting my product in a store and I'll be getting paid from the store guy or on the commission.
Exactly. So that's what I mean. So you should be speaking to the people who are paying you money. Have you spoken to enough of your people?
Okay, I have
the
not,
stores.
Yeah, for monetization, I have not, because I thought I would just start with them. Yeah.
Exactly. That's where I would focus, my friend. I would focus on these sorts. So I'll give you a quick rundown, and I know we've got other questions we need to answer. But one of the chaps that used to join our girls' room, which is on Wednesdays tomorrow, he was one of the early salespeople for Just Eat. Just Eat was, I think, if not in the world, at least in the UK, one of the first, if not the first, successful food grocery delivery company. I mean, it then ended up becoming a world phenomenon and a success and all that stuff. And here's what they did, Reza. They went onto only 2 streets in London. One in what they call the city, where the heart, the beating heart of UK and perhaps European economy was at the time. And also another place, either West End or an area called Kensington and Chelsea. I'm not 100% sure. The West End is where the shopping and the sort of going out district is, right? So they went into 2 streets and they went into each and every single restaurant or food or hospitality place in those 2 streets. And they asked them to pay £1,400. So this is a time when nobody knew this kind of stuff even existed, right? So they asked them to pay £1,400 to be on the platform. And they said the platform is about to go live. It hadn't been anywhere near ready to go live. But they asked people to pay upfront £1,400 to be on the platform so that enough people were on that platform, and then they would send the customers. Only when they managed to get enough of these shops, let's call them, so restaurants, whatever you want to call them, that's when they went live. And when they proved on these 2 streets, they got pretty much almost everybody there. Then they started building more, and then they, kept expanding. So my advice is focus on the people who are going to pay you the money, Riyazat. And don't start building stuff and spending money on stuff without speaking to people. I hope that helps.
Understood. Thank you so much.
Good, man. And one last thing, because you asked the second question, and I know we didn't touch on that, in terms of the funding. In my experience, this is perhaps one of the less active times in terms of investment that I've seen. But nevertheless, even before, when it was a bit more active, investors want to see traction. So the more traction you get, the easier it will become for you to raise funding. If you have no traction, unless you have a rich auntie who's got plenty of money, or you come from a world where you have plenty of people on your speed dial, then you can call and say, Mario, I need 400K, and he says, yeah, no problems, tell me where to send it. Otherwise, it will be difficult without traction.
Great, great. Thank you so much.
Good man.
But how-
Best of luck. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, but how will I measure the traction? Like, for example, at day one, I have 10 orders. Or day two, I have 20. Day three, I have 35. Does the traction?
That is a good enough traction. Basically, they want to see that, one, there is growth, and two, there are enough people that are keen on this idea. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does. Thank you.
So it's not necessarily the ability for us to now give you an exact number, but they want to see that, you know, enough people are using it and it's growing. Once you're able to prove that, then you'll be in a much better position. And of course, the more growth and the more traction you have, the better deal you get in terms of negotiating, you know, the percentage of equity and the money you get and so on, right? So the stronger you are, the better deal you get.
Great. Thank you so much, guys.
You're very welcome. Right, Ian, it's now 12:47 UK time. We've got 13 minutes to go. Probably time for 2 more questions, if that. Just a quick reminder for those of you that are tuning in via LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, please be aware that unfortunately we are unable to monitor your questions there. So you would need to join us live here on Microsoft Teams and interactively. It's audio only, by the way. And you can do that either if you see a link to that on your live stream there. If not, then just go to startup-to-scaleup.club, find today's session, which is Startup Product and Tech Q&A 142, click join. It's a quick registration, and then you get an email to your inbox or spam, maybe junk, with an access link to join us here interactively. Once you're here, all you have to do is put your question in the chat. I'll give you the mic, and then you can ask our panelists. Today's questions can be on anything to do with product and tech, from product roadmap to design, prototype, testing, MVP, and all that jazz. There are no wrong questions and no need to be shy. If, however, your questions today are not on product and tech, please save them for the other conversations we run. There's 6 of them in total. Monday's talent, Tuesday's product and tech, Wednesday's growth, Thursday's fundraising, second Friday of the month, UK startup law, third Friday of the month, UK startup finances. They're from 12 to 1 p.m. UK time, and you can RSVP to any of them via our site, startup-to-scaleup.club. And actually, when you're on our site, click on that WhatsApp icon at the top or bottom of the page and join us on WhatsApp to make sure you get alerts to all future apps. Now, without further ado, I've copied and pasted twice a question that was sent in to us, and this is so that now Mario can read it as well. And this is as follows. It's a health tech founder from Belfast. They're pre-seed. They're a physiotherapist by background. So we're developing a rehabilitation app that provides personalized exercise plans for patients recovering from injuries. We want to ensure our app is user-friendly and effective in tracking patient progress. Should we focus on creating a robust algorithm for personalized plans or integrate feedback mechanisms for real-time adjustments? Interesting question, actually. How do we ensure user compliance and motivation throughout their recovery process? Jesus, this is a bit trickier. Should we focus on creating a robust algorithm for personalized plans or integrate feedback mechanisms for real-time adjustments? I think this is the kind of question you definitely need to ask people that have already done something successful in this field. And definitely, you being a physiotherapist by background, you can ask your colleagues and maybe those that are a bit more senior, especially the consultants. But personally, I would kind of stay away from spending more money on algorithms and stuff. To start with, just focus on their feedback and see where that takes you. And then if you get enough traction and enough ways to attract more money for it, then why not? Or especially if they're all screaming and saying, this is what we want. What's your view, Tom?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one. I mean, obviously this founder has a background in the space, and I think with things like this, you do have to focus on the value you're providing for your users, your customers. And in this case, the value that you're offering them and the value which is important to deliver for this platform is effectively a effective rehabilitation, right? A effective recovery from whatever injury they've experienced. And the reason that someone will be coming to this platform is because they don't have that knowledge themselves, most likely. And there may be other reasons as well, but it's most likely they don't have that knowledge themselves. And so the physiotherapy expertise is what they're there for. So in that case, you need to make sure that the advice that you're delivering to them and the content that you're delivering to them and the schedule you're delivering it on means that if they do, perform everything that you've delivered to them content-wise and the instructions you've delivered to them, that they will experience, or they're much more likely to experience a positive recovery and an effective rehabilitation. So that doesn't mean you shouldn't collect any feedback, but it does mean that I would be wary of collecting or being too kind of prescriptive to feedback on the recovery plans that you're giving, because obviously you have to lean on your own expertise. That having said that, there's probably things which are more nuanced, such as the way that you're delivering that, the way that you're delivering that kind of instruction. So, for instance, if you were delivering it as a text or kind of even a text notification, which was being delivered to someone on a daily basis, and you get the feedback that actually it would be more helpful for them to have that delivered to them in a instructional video, then that's the kind of thing where you can still be producing the same content, the same instruction, but maybe in a more user-friendly or in a way that your users want to engage with more actively. So I would say, I think you mentioned on creating a robust algorithm for personalized plans. I mean, if you're able to create something which delivers that valuable plan, then I think that's a thing to do, because again, your expertise shows that will be effective for the patients, let's call them. That's maybe a bit strong, but patients. And then the other side of it is that, I think the feedback you want to be getting is that it's delivered to them in a way which they want to engage with. I guess the first thing I would also just kind of really focus on to begin with as well is the likelihood that someone is going to engage with this. Making sure that they, one of the reasons that people love to go and see physiotherapists is because they trust the personalized expertise and personalized experience they get, which can be difficult to replicate in a digital platform. So you're making sure that also these people who go and see physiotherapists also want to interact with a digital platform as well, and that more sort of base level validation stuff as well. But in terms of understanding or getting users to comply with the recovery process, all about putting it into a format and a user journey which they enjoy, and that will be based on feedback, basically.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Mario, any thoughts on this, buddy?
Yeah, so I agree with you what you said, that pre-seed meaning money is very short, right? So there's no room there for any algorithms, right? And algorithms need data, right? So need someone using the app. Otherwise, you don't have any. There's no need for algorithms if you have low scale, right? So I would start something very super simple, without anything advanced, just trying to get some users on it, see how they use it, what brings engagement, and start from there. There's probably not enough scope for more than that. On the front end, it can look like there's some algorithms, but on the backend side, it can be just something very simple, maybe, you know, without any personalization on or anything, you know, that has to be developed, because there's no pre-seed means very little budget for serious development.
Yeah, thank you very much to both of you. And that second part of the question, if you're listening to us now live, or whether you'll listen to the recording of it, in terms of compliance, that I have to say, it's probably the most crucial thing. As somebody, so I'm not sure if you worked for the NHS as a physiotherapist or private, but more often it tends to be people start in the NHS and then they take it from there. But if you have ever worked for the NHS, you'll know how important that second part is, that compliance, and of course motivation, you know, throughout the recovery process. That's something you should know better than I do. But in terms of compliance, I would definitely advise to reach out to NHS's innovation agency. I believe it's innovation.nhs.uk. You reach out to your local trusts, they can be quite useful, and also whatever university, college, hospital that you can think of, or university hospital that you can reach out to, because they can be quite useful. And most of them, they've got their own sort of branches or departments for innovation. Last but not least, Innovate UK is quite good on this. I would actually strongly advise you to reach out to them, because you could get help on all sorts of things. Right, we are now 2 minutes away. Today's been on fire with some brilliant advice from both Tom and Maya. And I think it's worth that I let you go maybe a second or two earlier than normal, gentlemen. But one thing I have to say is that we wouldn't have had over 270,000 people come through these conversations of ours, nor would we have been able to help 2,000 founders, if not more, if it hadn't been for Tom Green and Mario Tomic and all your fellow panelists. So please feel free to show them your love, follow them on LinkedIn, and reach out. Remember, they do this for free, so that they don't have to keep doing other work for free, and just bear that in mind. But before I let you go, fellas, what are your parting words for today? Let's start with Mario, and then we can go on to Tom.
Thank you. So I think this is the best time to build technology product. We have amazing tooling, amazing knowledge out there. We have AI to help us, to assist us with you know, being more productive. The biggest problem right now is finding right problem to solve, and technology is rarely a problem. It's not trivial, but it can be, you know, it can be done. It has been done, and lots of people did it before. So, you know, it's amazing time to start, and you just need to find a good problem, big enough problem to figure out. So yeah, that's from me.
Yeah, that's a very good parting word. Thank you very much for Mario. Tom, what are your parting words for us today?
Yeah, I think definitely agree with what Mario said, and that, you know, spend your time doing that user research. That's a really important part, because that's where you'll uncover the gems, which I think, as Mario kind of highlighted previously, the biggest hurdle was being able to build tech, but now the biggest hurdle is being able to build a product which can differentiate you from others who are, you know, most likely doing the same thing as you. I guess within that as well, is, you know, I think for founders now, one thing that I think we've seen become really important as well is speed. And that doesn't mean rushing things. It just means using the tools which are out there at your disposal to get things launched quickly, and then be really responsive and iterate quickly based on your early adopter feedback as well. So understanding that the landscape has changed means understanding you need to change the way you approach it. And yeah, speed and responsiveness are huge parts of that from what we see. So yeah, that would be my final thought.
That is brilliant. Well, thank you very much for your golden input and time today, gentlemen. I really appreciate that. Huge thanks to everyone that joined. Those of you that tuned in via LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, remember, next time join us here interactively on Microsoft Teams. That way, you'll be able to ask us any questions you want, as we are unable to monitor questions live that you either message, comment, email, however you choose to do it. We are unable to monitor you on those live streams. So you'll need to join us here on Microsoft Teams. And the way to do that is go into our website, startup2scaleup.club, find the session you want to join, click join, quick registration. Then that way you get a personalized link that you can then click on and join whenever your session comes up. Now, we run 6 regular sessions: Mondays talent, Tuesdays product and tech, as you can see today, Wednesdays growth, Thursdays fundraising, second Friday of the month it's legal, and third Friday of the month it's finances. And they're all from 12 to 1 p.m. UK time. And again, as I said, you can RSVP to any of them by our site, startup2scaleup.club. And actually, when you're on that site, you might want to join our WhatsApp group. That way, you'll get alerts to all future sessions that we run. And speaking of future sessions, tomorrow we've got growth. So you might want to join us for that and learn how to grow your business from 0 to hero. As far as my parting words are concerned, just remember the startup journey can be both exciting but also quite challenging. So try to have some fun in the meantime and be kind to yourself and everyone else for that matter. Again, thank you all. Have a great afternoon. Speak tomorrow at our Q&A for growth. Thanks again, and God bless you all. Bye-bye for now.